Photoshop and AI are ramping up the game for your images. I've been playing with the beta version of Photoshop with generative AI for the last few months, and it's just been completely amazing how I can take one photo, put a world around it. However, I really want to do this with video. Well, guess what? I can with making a generative AI frame like this one. Let me show you how. Thank you very much for following my channel here. Of course, go ahead, like, and comment on anything, including checking out the AI t-shirt that I made with programs like Photoshop. We're going to show you a simple way to take a video that's in 1080p and turn it into a full whopping 8K. That's going to be crazy. And we can have a lot of fun with it. And I'm going to show you that now. So this right here is the video that I just created down in the studio. It's about a minute long, and the idea is that it's just me moving around so you can see how that's going to work inside of the environment. Now, for it to work into Photoshop, the first thing I need to do is to take a frame. You can put the whole video into Photoshop. It does accept it. But on VLC, I always like to go up to video and take the snapshot, which gives me a nice 1080 frame to work with. So what I do next is I call up Photoshop and I'll take the image from my pictures. From there, I will go up to image and canvas size, and I will change the resolution. In this case, 7680 by 4320, or as other people know, 8K. Now, the cool thing about doing this is there's so much you can do from here. Let me show you some of the stuff that I've done here. First, we're in 4K. So I basically just increased the studio look a little bit and gave it, it's got these little pipes up on top. I have this one right here, which is a slight variant of that. So basically you get variations, and then I created generative fill from there. Going into 8K, this is one of the things that I created. What it did was it merged a little bit of the background, the top there, and then gave me this cavern looking thing. Here's another one. This is a very interesting, I don't know, it's like a bar, coffee bar, and I'm just sitting there waiting for the next patron to come in. You notice the perspective is just a little bit off. I mean, that's a pretty big bar for the size of me. I really would have to reach over and give them their coffee. But you get the idea. And in the center, I'm basically cutting out everything in the middle. Here's one more. This is more of a studio look. It gave me a ceiling, it gave me the background, and it gave me a big table to work with. And then the pile of junk that really is sitting in my studio is right there. Let's go ahead and show you how this works. Now, there's two ways you can really do this. The first way is luck of the draw. And how that works is you go to this tool right here, which is the magic wand tool. And then you click anywhere off the picture, and that's going to highlight everything. You've got generative fill down here. And then inside the generative fill down here, we're going to type in background fill. That's going to take a second and ultimately give me something. In this case, it actually looks pretty good. I would definitely use this in just, like a promo or anything like that, because I mean, it looks like a big studio, big table. The best part is we have the variations. So we'll see this first variation. Let's take a look at the second variation. There we go. This is the big problem that I run into when it comes to generative fill. It does not do a good job with people's faces. There's me. There's the original. We'll go over here. There's this guy. I don't know what happened to his hands. There's this person in the background. I mean, it looks like something out of a horror movie. There's another one right there. So you get the idea. Faces. Another thing that you might notice here is as I zoom in, you notice that there is one pixel. You see how it's feathered. You want to make sure that you turn off that feather, or else you're going to get that little 1 pixel border around the original, well, in this case, photo, but eventually video. And you don't want that in your content. What I've found for the best results that you can get is bit by bit, making small little incremental changes, and then bringing that in the overall picture. Let me show you what I mean here. We're going to do a simple generative fill, and we're going to start with the top here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to overlap the image like so. I'm watching because this will line up with the borders. So you'll see in this case, the pink purple line. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go background fill. I could do something like add a ceiling or anything like that. We're just doing background fill for now. So it's going to take a little bit of the image here and create the new image. We'll see what happens here. That looks pretty good. We got some small little weird things here. It actually did a good job in matching my hex art here. And of course, well, there's a PTZ camera over here that just kind of knocked that off. And then this little bar right here, it doesn't extend that, but that's okay. I can fill that out if I want to. But for the most part, this looks pretty good. It's a great addition to the extension there. So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's see what the variations are. We have this, which actually adds a light, and there was a light source over there, so that helps. And then this third one, which works pretty well too. So out of the three, I think, oh, look at that. It actually added the bar there. So let's use this one. I like this one a lot. Now keep in mind, when you start to fill after a fill, then it's going to be relying on what is already there. So you can't just switch to another variation. It might look good, but most of the time it doesn't. Let's go ahead and get to the next part of the fill here. And we're just going to do the side here. And we're going to do small bits and pieces. Some people would like to go down here. You'll see I have a little monitor right in the corner there. If we do the whole thing, it might cut off that monitor. And then, of course, my Mac Mini on there. So let's see what happens if we do this. So we're going to do background fill for generative fill here. And there we go. Actually, it did extend that monitor. So that's great. It looks like we have a little stand there. It extends the wall. That actually works. Like I said, if we go back over here and we change to another variation, you notice how now we have a little bit of issue on the side there. It doesn't blend in too well, neither with this one. You lose that little bar right there. So if we go back here to this one, everything fits like a puzzle piece. So keep that in mind if you want to move around different types of variations. So let's go over to the other side here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do bits and pieces overlapping the other image. And if we do more, we'll do it this way, and we'll go background fill. And this is one of the reasons why I don't do a full background fill. That's what I talked about before. All of a sudden, if it's in the right situation, in this case, it didn't do that, but they might start throwing people into the situation. We'll see this one. We got this one, and there's an elbow from somebody right there. And then this one, look at this guy. I don't get this. I don't know. Why is he looking at me? Stop looking at me. Why are you looking at me? Don't look at me. We have that one, which I really don't care about. So what I'll do is I'll just basically say, hey, that's a poor result. So it'll tell Photoshop, hey, don't do that again. Or try not to do that again. It's going to do it again. But basically now we have a larger landscape here, which is perfect. Now for the top, I trust anything above me to be pretty decent. I'm going to back out a little bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to do a little bit of overlap like that. And then of course, background fill. That's the words I use as background fill, not just fill, but background fill. On this case, it looks like it gave me a frame of some sort. So if I finish this out, that would be interesting. I might just do that really quick. We got this one. So yeah, it's creating another frame, which I didn't really want. So maybe this was not a great idea to do the whole thing. So let's go ahead and let's just bring it down a little bit. We'll give it a little bit more leeway than the other ones. And maybe it was because of these empty sides that caused that. And there we go. This one put a little light in here. We had the other options. It just basically darkens the top here. And this one right here, actually, this one doesn't fit too well. You see how it gets darker on the gradient there, but it doesn't right here. I'm going to do another one. I don't want to have it be so dark right here. I want to kind of give it a little bit more. Let's see what happens here. All right, so we have that one. We have another one with lights, and then another dark one. So we have these lights, and then we have this light. I like this light better. It's kind of more personal. So I'm going to keep that. Also, keep in mind, if you save the work and then you come back in, the variance might not be there. The one that you had set upon when you saved it and closed this out, and when it come back in, that's the one you'll have to use, or you'll have to recreate that area again. So we got all this. Let's work on the bottom. I'm hoping it doesn't do a full extension table, because I really don't want that, but we'll see what happens here. As you can see, it filled out more of the table there. You see, I have my Mac Mini right there. That kind of gave it, I don't know, it's really weird, like blurred it out or something. This would probably be the best one here. But we're going to do another generate. Change the area that you're generating fill with. So now we have a clipboard, which, we have a piece of paper, and then we have nothing. So this isn't working for me. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and we'll just remove that. We'll come back over here, and this time I'll just say table edge, get a little bit different take on it and see what happens. So we have an edge, and an edge. We'll say a dark table edge. There we go. Now we've got some better options here. I like this one. This one works. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this. We might take a little bit more of this, not the coffee cup. So I want to be right below that, and we're going to flush it up with these two right here. Look at that. That looks nice. There we go. Variations. There's another one. And it's really about finding little subtleties. Like, for instance, I see a little subtlety right here when I go flipping between the two. This one kind of lightens up. And I kind of like that because there is a light coming from here. So it does show a little bit of light reflection. So I think I'm going to keep that third one. Let's go to the back to this side here. We're going to do another generative fill right here. And you can do other keywords too. There we go. This one, that looks interesting because it makes the wall disappear. This one adds more to the wall, which is nice, but then it still has that blurry area right over here from a brick wall to a purple wall. This third one just doesn't even match. That was a bad result, so we'll say poor result. And then we'll hit the generate button again. And you can definitely tell them what you don't like about that. You got this one's blurry. And this one, once again, it mirrors. So something's not working here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. And then we're going to go down here. And I'm going to just start easy and small. We'll go up to about here. We're getting some better variations here. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. I kind of like 2 because it's getting away from that shelving part. We're going to do that. And then we're going to continue on. Actually, before we do this, I want to show you something else that's pretty cool that you can do. So instead of doing just the blocking, you can have some fun with it. We'll just do a little crescent moon looking thing, and we'll go background fill. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take what it sees on the screen, not just one layer, but what it sees on the screen, and kind of corrects it from there. So we have this, we have this, and we have this. The 1 and 3, it's kind of now changing the perspective. So there's a side wall that's coming into play, but that second one looks like the wall is like the back wall is super long. So I'm going to go with this one right here. There we go. And then we'll do background fill. So with that, you have a lot of fun. You make like a frame or something like that. Then you have bits of the wall, bits of the room come in. Now you see how well that matches with this. We have a couple variations. That one, not so much. And that one kind of works too. I'm going to go with this one right here. We've got a corner, and we've got the wall comes this way and then kind of goes off at about a 20, 25 degree angle from there. I like that a lot. So we're going to back this out. It does look a little fish-eyed over here, warping with this brick. But we can also fix that. Like, for instance, I can go in here and I could go like this, and I could go down here and here. Let's find a line to work with, and we'll go like that. And we'll say blue bricks. I can also put pictures on the wall. I can also put, well, not really text. It's going to be a garbled mess if you do text. So there we got a window with a broken shade or something. And there's a piece of art. I like that a lot. And then there's like a little wood slat shade. So I kind of like this one. It's got a corner to it. That one looks a little bit better. And that one, no, that's not going to work. So this one is where we're going to go with this. So now we're going to see what happens if I do this whole thing. Well, that's interesting. It looks like little seats or something like that. What else do we have? We got a curtain, which doesn't really work. Its perspective is the big thing, of course. This one's got seats again. So that might not be the best thing. I could come in here. You'll have to rasterize it at this point. So that image, whatever variations are gone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get to that corner and take out what looks like the chair. Boop, like that. So now we have our table corner. We've taken out whatever that thing was supposed to be. We'll just try and do the whole thing. We have, this one has an image, nothing that we can use. It looks like cardboard or something like that. And this one just seemed to mirror the other one. So we're going to start with this one. This is pretty decent. It kind of killed the corner there. That's okay. Once again, we can rasterize this. Boom, like that. And then bring back the corner. That's why that didn't work. So that's probably not going to work the way that I want it to. Once again, it's trial and error, trial and error. Sometimes you get lucky on that first round, but then you have to go through 3 or 4 to make it work. Yeah, that second one is okay. Maybe not background fill, but more like background brick wall. Gives me brick walls, which kind of don't really match here. This time, we're going to cut this part out. You have to rasterize it first. Now let's do this bit by bit. There we go. Now it's going to start to work. So let's get something a little bit bigger. And at this point, we could also just paint in darkness because that's where it's going. There we go. Now we'll paint that in. Close that out. There we go. We could also, really quick, let's just say, okay, over here, this wall needs something. Geeky poster. That's nice, but it makes me think maybe I should do more than one. 3 geeky posters. So that's something interesting. Got text in there, so that's not going to work too well. That's pretty cool. This one is okay. The problem is that background border, which once again, we can just boom like that and then take out the gray. And then, you know, that feels too bright. Let's put in a color overlay. Oh, wow. That did more there. Do that. And then we'll change the opacity a little bit. There we go. Now we'll clean up the rest of this. I'd come in here and I'd go stroke. And then you see how it's got all these black lines. It's a great way to figure out what still needs to be taken out of an image. It also shows you if you've got straight lines or not on like the posters. Boom. Put in a drop shadow. So it kind of looks a little bit like it's coming out of the wall. So there we go. They're uneven. That's my studio actually. You get the idea. So there's the image all together, 8K. It doesn't make me bigger in this image, but you could have a lot of fun with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it into my video. Save it like a PNG file. You can also do JPEG, and keep in mind that it might take a little while the bigger the images are. Now that it's rendered out and we have that there, we can now put that into a project. So I got a simple project. I have the video that I started with, and then of course the generative fill that we had. So from the generative fill, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either bring it in through the 1080p and then expand it, or you can start here and then try and nudge the video in the right spot. So what I'm going to do, what I like to do, is I create a new selection from clip. Now it's in 1080 right here, and I just have to change the sequence settings. 7/6 1080, 4320. There we go. We got our image. It's right in the middle place where we need it to be. I'm going to take this 8K Studio and I'm going to put it right above that. And look at that. How cool is that? So now if I play this, you can see me moving around at the table. As long as I don't go past the borders, it's going to look fairly realistic. Kind of like if you did like an Unreal Engine or something like that. What we can do at this point, we can do one of two things. We can make an 8K video just from this, and then you can bring in different things, use generative AI to bring in presentations or whatever. But now that we have this, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to create a new sequence. We're going to do this at 1080p. We're going to end up deleting that anyway. And then we're going to take the first one and we're going to bring it in here. We're going to keep the existing settings. So as you can see, it starts out like this. Now we'll go the full minute. We're going to go over to editing, choose our area. We're going to scale it, create a keyframe for scaling all the way to the end, and then go like that. And then of course I'm going to push that to the end, make sure the other one's to that end. We'll save that and render that out. And this is what it's going to look like. I rendered it and we're good to go. And this is the final look. Play this out. I rendered it in 1080p. Took about 10 minutes on my machine with a 4090 graphics card. As you can see, it's starting to zoom out there. That was the whole idea. I do see a couple little weird things over by the TV. There was a hockey stick there, and that's kind of faded in and faded out. You see the portable monitor case just kind of stretched out. And of course, that Mac Mini looks a lot bigger than a Mac Mini is. Little things like that. But once again, these can also be fixed. For the most part, this is the studio being zoomed out to 7680 by 4320. It's pretty sweet what you can do with this thing and make it look like something more than what it is. Because if you were to actually see what my studio looks like beyond those walls, it's going to be a lot of mess and it's going to be a lot of things that don't match up with the wall. So there you go, a studio larger than life, without cameras, without lights, without whatever's behind the black curtain you don't get to see. And believe me, with culturing your keywords, building your small bits, and doing trial and error, you can make a small area look big. You could even possibly ditch that green screen to build sets that can do more than just extend the studio. What will you do with your projects? By the way, as you can see, I did some more work and had some fun with this zoom out. You can see how you can build around ideas. So let me know what you end up creating with this generative fill idea through the comments below. And at Geekazine on Twitter, or X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and now Threads, an Instagram app. Until next time, you guys geek out and expand your videos.